Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.
Katz and Cosby on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news, WABC.
And boy, oh boy, this looks like a Friday surprise. We've got Spencer Pratt, who was the Los Angeles mayoral candidate. Remember, Republican/independent reality star who really took hold. People loved him. He was doing great. Then suddenly, obviously, when the absentee ballots and the mail-in ballots, all that got counted, he got pushed out of the race. Well, now he said, I am declaring war. This just came out, saying that he has recordings that will cause one of the two remaining in the race, which is Karen Bass and Nithya Raman, one of them to resign in shame. And this just came out that Pratt is saying that he has potential recordings from their own employees. So this is getting really wild. He said, I am declaring war. So let's go to Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, boy, oh boy, how do you read this? And what could happen if say, who knows what's in the recordings, who knows where it goes? If it turns out that it does cause someone to have the reaction he thinks, what happens to the race?
Well, I sure hope that whatever he has against the number two candidate, that woman, radical, anti-Semite, anti-American who finished second and beat him out. That would be the big, big, big victory. And the Californians would have to figure out how to get her out of the race if that's who the person is. If it's against the mayor, I wouldn't be so happy about that. But we have to wait and see. We can't just judge it based on his statement that he's declaring war.
Yeah, of
We
course.
We have to see the facts.
Professor,
yeah.
How does that work? Like, if just curious too, like if there was something that's bombshell, and again, we don't know, it's an if, do they do a special election? How would that work if somebody were to drop out? I mean, I've never heard, how does that work?
Well, it's very hard. It depends completely on local law. She would have to drop out. That would be the first thing. She couldn't be forced out. No matter how bad the evidence is, she couldn't be forced out. She would have to be voluntarily leave. And then, who knows? Maybe the committee or some party committee could put a substitute in, or maybe the third place person would take over. That would be the logical thing, of course, because he didn't lose by that much. He had I remember 25%, the next one at 28%, 29%. So the logical thing, obviously, would be for the third place candidate to replace the second place candidate. But I do think we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm hoping that we're right, and I'm hoping that the second place candidate is the person on whom he has the tape recordings. I'm also waiting for the next shoe to drop on Platner. I cannot believe that this is all we have on him. I suspect we're going to see much, much more before this election. It could be that the Republicans are holding back and waiting until maybe in October or September before they reveal the really bad stuff. But I'm sure there's going to be bad stuff. What I'm so worried about with Platner is he's formed a new type of candidate, the thug, Nazi, macho, woman-hating, kind of rape-justifying guy. And there was an article the other day in one of the papers saying, that's the candidate that the Democrats now like. They want to get the average person, as if the average person justifies rape and the average person wears a Nazi tattoo. It's really so insulting to hardworking Americans for anybody to say that Platner represents hardworking Americans. He doesn't. He's a bum. He is a guy who got all of his money from his parents. He inherited everything, never worked a day in his life. He shucked a couple of oysters and sold them to his mother. I mean, my God, what a horrible candidate. And what a horrible thing that the worst person in the whole United States Senate, Bernie Sanders, is now enthusiastically supporting him, along with perhaps the second worst person in the United States Senate, Liz Warren.
Yeah, it is really astounding. Governor Patterson.
Alan, this guy, after he wins, and, he's having his victory speech, was the most antagonistic, challenging, just absolutely inappropriate way to talk. After all the trouble he's been in, I would have thought that he would have gotten up and recited a couple of things that he knew he had done and try to talk about how he's reformed and what he wants to do in the future. But it was maybe the most horrible speech I've ever heard someone. You would have thought he lost the way he was speaking.
Yeah, but that's because he represents a new generation, a generation of angry, entitled, furious people who apparently like to vote for people like that. I mean, in my generation, you'd never dream of putting somebody like that on the ballot. In your generation, we're living in a different world, unfortunately, and it's a world that's crass and that's, it rewards bad behavior and bad conduct, and it's so selective. If you're on one side of the political spectrum, it's okay, you can do anything, but if you're in the other side, my God, you can't do anything. So, we live in a world that's so divided, but I'm so worried that Platner represents a new phenomenon in American politics that could spread. Because if he wins in Maine, we're going to see thugs like him with KKK emblems, with the nooses around their neck, with everything. We're going to see them become the candidates because they're the real people. No, they're not the real people. The real people are decent, nice people who go to work every day and don't wear Nazi tattoos and don't beat their girlfriends.
I agree 110%. We got ourselves into such a bizarre world, and I've told a lot of people at the White House, no names mentioned, that these people are putting on a play. They create a scene, and they spend $50,000, $100,000 creating a scene that they're right, and they're protesting, and then the major networks they put it on, and they get $1 zillion worth of advertising. Right. I mean, this is such craziness what's going on in our country.
And it's the fault of CNN. It's the fault of the New York Times. Thank God there are people like you who have access to the White House, who can talk to our president, our vice president, and others, and can talk sense. I mean, you are Mr. Common Sense, and that's why I love being on your show, Mr. Common Sense. And I think Americans have common sense. But my God, if they start voting for people like this, forget about common sense. That's the road to dictatorship. When you have thugs like that who appeal to people, Stalin was a thug, Hitler was a thug, Mao Zedong, and we're now seeing people voting for thugs.
Yeah, it is frightening. The bar boy has hit rock bottom. I 100% agree. Professor Dershowitz, we love you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for promoting common sense.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves a match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.